Hi there, welcome back to my Bake Escape. In honor of the beginning of my favorite season, I made a pumpkin muffie. A muffie is a muffin and cookie combined. So the texture is a little denser, but it's in the shape of a cookie. And this one is filled with pumpkin puree and all the pumpkin spice seasonings that we all love during this time of year. For this recipe, you will need all-purpose flour, brown sugar, granulated sugar, eggs, baking soda, baking powder, salt, unsalted butter, cinnamon, pumpkin spice, vanilla extract, and pumpkin puree. All right, let's get started. So anytime you're making a cookie, the first step usually is to cream together the butter and the sugars. So that's what we're gonna do. I start by adding the brown and granulated sugars to the bowl, followed by the unsalted butter. And I usually cream these together for about 2 to 3 minutes until they're light and fluffy. To the flour, add the salt, baking powder, baking soda, pumpkin spice, and cinnamon. Give it a quick mix and then set it aside. Now that the butter and sugars are creamed together, I'm going to go ahead and incorporate the eggs one at a time, mixing well after each addition. Once the eggs have incorporated into the batter, it's time to add the pumpkin puree, followed by the vanilla extract. Let it mix until it comes together, and then the next step is to add the flour mixture. I like to add the flour mixture in 2 or 3 steps, allowing it to incorporate into the wet mixture just until mixed in before adding the rest of the flour. Once the flour has been incorporated, this is optional, but you can add a cup of chopped pecans to the batter. We have our Muffie dough ready to go. What I like to do is use an ice cream scoop to portion out each cookie. This helps ensure that the cookies are approximately the same size, that all the cookies on the sheet bake evenly and are cooked roughly all at the same time. One of the things that drives me crazy is when my cookies touch and merge together into one big blob in the oven. So to avoid this, I like to leave quite a lot of space in between each cookie. Once I portion out all of the cookies, I slightly wet my hands with a little bit of water, and I press down just a little bit, very gently, the tops of each cookie just to flatten it out a little bit. And then it goes into a 350-degree oven for about 8 to 11 minutes. Once they have baked, I remove the cookie sheet from the oven and let the cookies rest on the baking sheet for about 2 minutes. Now, you can definitely enjoy these cookies just as they are. You might want to sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar on them or just eat them plain. They're absolutely delicious like that. However, I always strive to improve or make things just a little bit better. So I decided to add a maple glaze or maple frosting to the tops of these pumpkin muffies. I actually used this recipe a few years ago when I made a bundt cake. It was the icing for the bundt cake, and I have absolutely loved it. And I use it for a lot of my recipes, especially my fall recipes. So we're gonna make a maple icing. So what's interesting about this icing is that there is no maple syrup in it, but when you combine all these flavors, they taste like a maple glazed donut, which is one of my favorite donuts to get when I visit a donut shop. So for the maple icing, you will need powdered sugar, brown sugar, heavy whipping cream, unsalted butter, salt, and vanilla extract. To make the maple icing, you will need a heavy lined medium saucepan like I have here. I'm going to start by adding the butter to the pan, followed by the brown sugar, then the heavy whipping cream, and then the salt. I let the ingredients melt together, and once the mixture begins to boil, I go ahead and stir it constantly for a minute. After the mixture has boiled for a minute, I remove it from the heat. The next step is to add the vanilla extract. Since the vanilla extract is a lot cooler in temperature than the mixture, when you add it, it will bubble up slightly. Don't let that scare you. Just carefully mix it in and the mixture will settle down pretty quickly after adding the vanilla extract. After mixing in the vanilla, the next step is to incorporate the powdered sugar. So I like to do this in stages. I start by adding a little bit, mix it in completely, add a little bit more powdered sugar, mix that in, and then finally mix in the rest of the powdered sugar. I continue whisking the mixture until the frosting is completely smooth. This frosting will set up pretty quickly, so you want to work fast when adding this to the Muffies. I use a large spoon and I just scoop a little on top, use the back of the spoon to spread it evenly on top of the Muffie, and then I like to sprinkle a little bit of chopped pecans on top just to let people know that there are nuts in the Muffie, and then move on to icing the rest. These turned out so good. They are very tasty, just the perfect amount of pumpkin flavor and spices combined with the moist and thick, delicious, nutty cookie. I mean, I just can't describe it. You have to make it yourself. I hope you try this recipe soon. As always, if you do, please leave a comment in the comments below. Let me know what you thought. And if you liked this video, feel free to subscribe to my channel, like, share, do all the good stuff. I appreciate all of you following me and all the comments that you leave. It just really makes my day when I hear from you. So I hope you all have a wonderful, sweet day and happy fall.